And welcome once again to Living in the 21st Century. Joining me today is Michael Smith, one of the co-founders of Boston Carnival Village, as well as the founder of Michael Smith Photography. Right. Michael, it's a pleasure to have you on today. And, you know, you're so creative in everything you do, from the creativity of Boston Carnival Village. You know, you have your photographic company. You published in a lot of books. Man, you're doing a lot of things. But tell me a little bit about this one called Cultural People Places in Trinidad and Tobago. A photo essay by you.
Right. That particular book came out of another vision of mine. I left Trinidad in 1977.
Wow,
Never been
time.
back.
Long time.
And in 2020, I decided I'm going to go back, but I want to rediscover Trinidad from a different kind of a perspective and see if I could publish that. So I went down there. I was there for, God Lord, it was during the Carnival month too. I didn't even go to Port of Spain to be part of that.
Okay.
The big day of Carnival, I was in San Fernando. And I got me a driver, took me to all these places, and I just was going with the camera.
Yes.
And I go to certain places, like for instance, when I went to San Fernando. The reason why I went to San Fernando, in Port of Spain, I went to, you know, that hill. I can't remember the name of the hill right now, but I went up there to see Port of Spain.
Absolutely.
It was behind the Emperor Valley Zoo. There's a road to take it up.
Right.
And somebody says, oh, you need to go to San Fernando, blah, 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 blah. So I got up there. I said, really? Okay. So made my way to San Fernando too. And it was strange.
Well, I was about to answer that question. It had to look strange after 50 years, right?
Oh my word, it was really different, really strange. In Port of Spain, I noticed a lot more African Americans or African Caribbean people were really having their business, and they're really hustling, because when I was growing up, the Indo-Caribbean community, they were dominating all the business in that sense. But I noticed there was a shift. I thought that was really interesting. And the place was even more interesting and beautiful than when I left it. One of the places I made my way to was where I went to school. And memories just start bumping out of my brain when I went back to that place.
Well, I bet when you went to San Fernando, because when I've been there, I saw that after Port of Spain, which is so commercialized, if you don't be careful, you would think you're in New York, right?
Yep, that's it.
But when I went to San Fernando, I recognized that San Fernando is very commercialized also.
Yes.
It was like the second largest developing city in Trinidad.
Yes.
But it's a beautiful place. And I can imagine it's like almost 50 years that you haven't been back there, and you see this place. It was like it was going into a new kingdom.
I didn't know the place at all. It was like, wow. And I locked out when I went to Sando, to that hill I was telling you about. I walk in the place and I literally talking to myself, you know. I looked around, I see this person over there just laughing. I said, what are you laughing at? She said, I see you come here and you're talking to yourself. I wonder. So we talked.
Did she know that you were Trinidadian? I mean, you said your accent is there still, right?
I didn't speak to her, we just smiled. So after I spoke to her and tell her, I said, I need a driver. Are you available? She said, sure. And took me every place I wanted to go. And I was just like a kid in a candy store with a camera. And I was just going. And I said, when I get back, I had to publish that.
Yes.
So I did it. I learned all the tricks of the trade of how to lay out, how to organize, do what I wanted to do. Found a place online that would print all my books.
Absolutely.
Because I went and do the research, who is the cheapest or best, you know.
Absolutely.
So I found that organization and I just went off and running.
Absolutely.
Off and running.
Yeah, Trinidad's a good place, and I like the commercial aspect of it too, because especially for a time in season as of now, if you want to go and learn to trade, I mean, there are trading posts down there just like you got on Wall Street. They have their own trading posts too, but I think when you look at the dollar value to the United States dollar, it's so easy for businessmen to go there, and this is not to promote it, but I'm basically promoting it by telling this from reality. It's easy for businessmen to go there in hard times like now and invest their money in the business, and their dollar can stretch so far because of the cheapness of things versus the power of the United States dollar. It's a good way to go and start to develop business.
The exchange rate, before this disaster started, was about 6 to 1.
Yeah, well, yeah.
And it was stable, quite stable for the longest while.
Absolutely. Well, you know that.
If there were any fluctuations, there was pennies, I guess. But
yeah, I mean, it was pennies.
Pretty good.
Back in the 90s when it was trading there, it was like 6 to 1. It was good for me.
Oh, yeah.
And it wasn't even the United States dollar, it was in the Barbadian dollar, right?
Yeah. I think Barbados is tied to the US dollar 1 to 1.
We is 1-1, yeah. So Barbados dollar is pretty good, economically speaking. Matter of fact, our dollar value, as small as a country as we are, is even more superior than the Canadian dollar at one point. I'm not sure about no, but it is, actually.
Right.
Yeah. So we got our next book, Places You Travel, right? A collection of photographic essays by you.
Places traveled.
Yeah.
Same concept, and because again, it doesn't matter where I go. As a matter of fact, I forgot my camera bag today. It doesn't matter where I go.
It's not something.
I have my camera on my backpack.
Yes.
And I'm always ready to shoot.
Absolutely.
So I'm always observing, and then. So I decided to do something on places traveled.
Yeah, well, I mean, you got something. Oregon, I've never been to Oregon. All the other places I've been to. But what a little bit about Oregon that stands out to you? I mean, this is, gosh, Michael, this is really great.
When I went to Oregon, I was there for what? Almost 2 months. My company sent me down there to a company. To get training on some system we bought.
Right.
And my manager says, why don't you go there and learn more about this system? All right. So I got out there. So every day, classes, after class, boom. The training instructor says, where do I go around here to get to see the place? Take photographs, jazz club. He said, boom, give me all the address, information I needed. But I would have done so much better if GPS was available then, as it is now.
Absolutely.
But I did the map, go online, and I went to a couple places. The downtown, I forget the name, Oregon. Quite interesting. I think it's the only city I ever went to. It's like was one way in, one way out of the city.
Wow.
But it was great. The people are really interesting, to say the least. They make some great wine out there because one of the instructors says, yeah, boop, boop, boop. So I just drove around, check out all the wineries and that sort of stuff. Great wine. And Tillamook. I went to another beach, discovered they made an ice cream. I passed there. It's the still ice cream I eat today. It came to the stores, and that's the only ice cream I buy. It is, at least to me, so good. So the people, great, nice city. They have a lot going on. Apparently, they were in a kind of a transition because they did a lot of farming. They still have a lot of farming now. But they had some industries, factories that went out there. That's why I went out there. But they have a lot of farms. Like I said, the people are great. And seeing that river, I forget the name of the river. I'm used to rivers this small, you know.
Right. Little streams,
that's a river? This thing is like 3 miles wide.
Yep.
It was amazing, amazing. So doing that and observing the people and taking all these photographs, I said I had to include them in this publication.
Absolutely, that sounds pretty good.
As a matter of fact, when I was there, I told the family, I said, we got to go out to Oregon and visit the place, but we haven't done it yet, but I hope.
And good architectural designs and buildings down there.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, as a matter of fact, they were that was the first place I saw they had provision on the road for people to ride their bikes and electric vehicles.
Wow.
That's the first place I saw that. I say, wow. Now everybody is doing the roadways so cyclists could ride and do their thing. So yeah, that's the first place I saw that. So all those things stayed with me. The mountain, I think that's where we had that major earthquake. Mount Washington. I can't remember the mountain, but we had that huge
earthquake,
flooding earthquake or whatever took place there. But it was interesting for me, and I like to tell people everywhere I go, as long as I have my camera, I always find something interesting.
Yeah, well, a camera should be a photographer's best friend, you know. Always got it there to snap at the moment. Yeah, and then we got here, Boston Carnival Village celebrates the villagers.
Yeah, they celebrated their 50th anniversary. And I decided I want to do something to honor that situation. And the only people I could think about is the people who made it possible.
Right.
All the band leaders, the designers, masqueraders, so I kind of focused on them. Because as a member of the association, that's the way I always felt. We are supposed to be doing things to promote them.
Absolutely.
To bring more people to town.
But I mean, this book here seems so historic. I think it should be something that you have in the Boston Library or something. If it was me, I think I would try to make this a national piece, seriously, because when we speak about Boston Carnival Village, it just doesn't include one culture. It includes multiple culture. And with that said, I don't think there's anyone right now, and this is just my imagination, that would have probably put together a piece such as this. And I think it has significant meaning to it. I think it's something that children and generations to come should at least know what it was like to be a part of Boston Carnival Village and so forth. This is a good documentary of that. I just don't see it as just the normal book. I see it as something that should be sitting in.
This is just on the 50th, but I have another one that as thick as this.
Okay.
I should have brought a copy.
Yeah.
I have another one and that's the history of Boston Carnival, when it was started, by whom, all the people that contributed, serious stories in there about Carnival, the history of it, how it started, and all of that good stuff. So I have that, as thick as this, about the same size, and this one out there. And you're absolutely right.
You have to.
When these publications come out that I'm working on right now, I'm taking all of them to get them in libraries.
Yes.
The first one I'm gonna start with is the one in my town, Milton, and I want them in the Boston Public Library.
Yes.
So that's a project I will be working on more deeply when these two publications come out.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, it should be large in Boston.
Yep.
But I see it as a piece of heritage that suits for the whole nation as a whole.
Yes, absolutely.
Because every state is intertwined with each other. That's why we are called United States of America.
Yeah.
And we have to learn our different cultures and the people. We speak more than 164 different languages in Boston.
Yep.
Unofficially, it's about 184 or near 200, something like that. But with this kind of, and sometimes it's weird, we can sit down and put together some real good things, quality pieces of, whether it's a book or music or something, and we we don't really think much of it.
No, we don't.
But an expert will come in and tell you, this thing has significant meaning, it has significant value.
Yep.
It should be this place and it should be the other place.
Right.
But we just say, we just do this and have a little bit of fun. But Michael, man, this is how I see life. As we get older, this seals your legacy. You leave something for generations to come and learn from and understand what culture is like.
Right.
Besides just being a simple book form, it has to be on the breastplate and foundation as a part of America's good legacy.
Correct. Not just America, but the Caribbean in
legacy
America history.
Exactly.
Yes.
We got to make it.
Yep.
We must make it that way.
Yep.
And the sooner you work pretty better, maybe too.
Yeah. When I started thinking the way you're talking now, I always ran into roadblocks. People didn't understand. I mean, I was having a big, I wouldn't call it a discussion, with one guy on WhatsApp the other day. And we talking about the Caribbean Carnival. I said to him, listen, what we do, what we contribute is very important. And by the way, I'm on a one-man boycott with the Boston Carnival. Last year, people called me why I wasn't at the carnival. I say I will no longer be at the Boston Carnival as long as the current administration is there, because they're missing the point. They are destroying my culture.
Absolutely.
They're not doing what we're supposed to be doing to elevate the culture.
Absolutely.
You see what I'm saying? They're looking for the 2 pennies and the short-term thinking benefit is what they're looking for.
Yeah.
I said to him, I remember a day, because I also did a survey on Boston Carnival. I had about 10 or 20 kids that day, had a little quick class, put them out there, tabulated all that later. I said it's important that we document this stuff.
Yes.
Right? Because we don't, like you're saying, down the road, people is going to start saying, who started Boston Carnival?
Absolutely.
Who did this, who did that? And Joe started, Mary started, James. I said, no, that's not right.
Correct.
Got to document it.
Correct. And it's all the time.
Yep.
The cause is bigger than the critics.
Yep.
A picture is worth 1,000 words.
There you go.
You could try to convince a man
with
your mouth verbally and tell him this and tell him that. But when you got documentation and the pictures to prove what you're talking about, you don't need to convince them anymore.
That's correct.
Picture bigger than 1,000 words, right?
So along those lines, I'm trying to get a meeting. I started this since last year. The woman in Boston who is heading up the cultural, I think she came from, I can't remember she came from, but the mayor and the governor put her in sort of charge of that. And I want to see her to have a discussion about Boston Carnival and what they can do to help it.
Right.
Because if I ever get back involved with the carnival, I demand in 2 things. The current administration be thrown out, number 1. And I want to use the Boston Garden to have an annual
that sounds good.
King and Queen show there. And the way that's going to work is not just the King and Queen of Boston Carnival, but the King and Queen from other carnivals.
Absolutely.
Including Trinidad.
Absolutely, that makes sense.
I want to see those huge, nice costumes go across that stage.
And by doing that, you're actually bringing thousands and thousands of people. That in itself is a promotional piece. Not just one part, but
that's right.
All different countries.
All aspects of it.
That's good.
And if I could make that possible, now the city will understand the bigger picture.
The picture worth 1,000 words.
There you go. They will boom.
You
and
clear.
They will now want to say, what? This place is empty in the summer, or at least in August. Let's put this aside for the Caribbean community and have this huge show there.
Start to put together a strategic plan.
Yep.
Yeah.
But it's on the mind, it's on the paper. It's coming.
It's coming. Action plan. Yeah. So you was telling us about the your memoir and what you're working on right now.
The memoir, it's like I say, you know what? I want to write a memoir. I want to tell my story. Who is Michael?
Yes.
And what about my life that I want to put in this book that people could pick it up and read and say, oh, wow, I am motivated, I'm inspired. You see what I'm saying? And throughout this memoir, I am using the traffic lights as a analogy,
right?
You know, to show, at this one time, I was on a yellow light. This time I was on a red light.
Exactly.
This time I'm on a green light. And this is how, in my life, I went from yellow, red to green. By showing different stories of my life, starting in Trinidad from when I was born. So literally about half the chapters in the book deals with my life in Trinidad. Going to school, blah, 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 blah. And then the next half, when I made it here. In the book, I talk about how did I get interested in electronics. And the strangest way I got interested in electronic was I used to listen to radios. You're familiar with the shortwave band on the radio?
Yes.
And I used to tune those things. I would spend hours tuning. And from the time I hear some intelligence or people speaking some of the languages I didn't know. But I know I was picking up a radio station, and the question was, why? How does this work? What magic is going on in the air that made radio stations came in?
It was strange about it then.
Yep.
We didn't even have GPS yet or
Correct.
nothing like that. We didn't have nothing to get it.
Yep.
It was just a bunch of antennas.
Yep.
Believe it or not, that used to really caught my mind.
Yep.
How do you get antennas sending signals from one to the next?
Right.
How could you get people's voices going through these signals?
So that drove me nuts. I wanted to know. So that led me from one place to the next to getting a bachelor's degree in this stuff.
Absolutely.
And the same kind of road took me with photography. We had a guy that lived in the neighborhood. He had a TLR, twin lens reflex camera. I didn't know what it was then, but my brain recorded it.
Absolutely.
I got old eyes to look up. So he took pictures of the kids in the neighborhood, and then the pictures came. I still have one, and it's like, what? How is this possible?
Correct.
You just pow. And 3-4 weeks later, he gave us this photograph. I was just blown away. And I kid you not, when I graduated from college in 1983, an online course in New York Institute of Photography, I signed up immediately.
I see.
And through them, I learned how to use a camera, how to develop negatives and prints. I read a lot of books. One of the guys that really sucked me in was Ansel Adams. I don't know if you ever heard of him.
Not quite.
Yeah, he fantastic with black and white photographs. This guy would go out to some place to shoot, and he will not take that photograph until the conditions are right.
Right.
Back then, you look through the lens and you take the thing out and take the picture. That's what he used. But I was always surprised like that. He developed something they call, when you develop in film, the zone system. It's a 5-step process.
Oh.
From the way he shot the film, from the way he developed the negative, from the way he made the prints.
I see.
I read all of those things.
Absolutely. Well, ask this question before the time get away.
Yeah.
Do you see, I mean, you contribute so much in reforming Boston Carnival Village.
Yeah.
Would you ever consider yourself the godfather of Boston Carnival Village?
No.
Okay.
No. No.
Why not?
There was so much people that came before me, but I will consider myself the historian
of Boston
Carnival.
Right. So, right? Okay, the historian of Boston.
Yeah, Boston Carnival. Because the information that I got is from this one, that one, that one, that one. Right. Nobody ever decided to put it all together.
Do you see yourself in the future producing an award from the historian of Boston Carnival Village to those who contribute significantly to Boston Carnival Village?
Oh, hell yeah. Absolutely.
The Michael Smith Award?
Again, this is one of the main reasons I'm not with the current administrative body anymore.
Right.
I mean, they kicked me out of there, and I'm proud to say that. The people need the support. They need the funding. I personally believe every year they should have something major to honor these people.
Yeah, and one thing I think too, and it happens all the time in the Caribbean territories. Yep. It seems we've lost that way of marketing ourselves, selling our business.
Yep.
If it's not a physical book or a physical product, you can't sell it.
Yep.
This is something that Americans good at.
Yep, very good.
Capitalism, man. They can sell a service extremely good.
Very good.
We're in Rome, do what the Romans do. Learn, learn how to sell yourself like an American, right?
That's right.
And that's why I applaud America for it. We can sell services and sell it real good. Caribbean doesn't, it seems something visionless lost from doing that.
Yeah.
And if we can sell our product, because that's what the Caribbean, that's what the Boston Carnival Village is all about. Canada does it. And they make a ton of money out of it. We can do it too.
I went to Toronto Carnival 3 years in a row now. And I was blown away. I was blown away. I start talking to people who knows, and they, believe it or not, their early history was similar to Boston.
Yes.
It was called Caribana then.
Caribana.
They would give them money to do the things, and they were putting it in their pocket. Nothing was getting down to the band leaders.
There goes for the Caribbean culture
right?
again, right?
So the Canadian government tourist board put one and one together. They says every year these people have these things. We get a bump in tourism. Okay,
well that's good, but Michael, we wrapping up now. Well, we ain't finished. We ain't got plenty of time to continue on these lines of conversation. Richness good. I want to thank you all for joining in on Living in the 21st Century with Michael Smith and Michael Smith Photography.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Really appreciated it.